all of the three. And so I might find myself sitting across from this person in the coffee table as I hear the sounds, and this is what I'm going to say to them. I'm going to say, I can really hear, the clang of the plates around us at the moment. And as I look down at my menu, I notice that there's a lot on this menu here right now. Do you notice that too? And they go, yeah. So now they've just agreed to noticing the sounds in the background, and they've just agreed to noticing what's on the menu, and they've just agreed to having the same experience for you. Oh, you notice we're all hearing. Oh. Nice one, Kylie. I notice we're all hearing you next. Good, that's perfect. So that's exactly what we're doing. And so you might add in what the person feels as well. You might be like, I feel this. You may feel the card in your hand of the order form, and as I feel it in my hand, I'm considering what sort of paper they made this on. Now these are all pretty lame examples. You can get a lot more detailed with your pacing if you really want to, and we can jump into a different context. Is there any context where you guys find yourselves in a lot? Copies are pretty regular for most people, but is there a particular context and environment that you find yourself in a lot that I could relate this to?
I was actually just thinking, Nick, now that you've helped us with some pacing, what would be an example of now leading?
Good. You guys are ready to go into leading now?
I am.
All right, nice, Kev. Good. All right, so we just finished pacing by sitting across from the coffee table and saying, well, you can hear the sound of the waitresses asking for the order, and you can feel that order card in your hands, and it's kind of cool, the wind in here at the moment. They need to turn up the aircon, and you can look down and notice that there's a full glass of water in front of you. So the full pace of their current experience. And of course, when I'm pacing someone, I don't always necessarily tell them everything that they're experiencing, but maybe one or two from the representational systems, visual, kinesthetic, auditory, for the most part. So now that we've paced the person, we go into leading, and we tell them something that may not necessarily be true, but they will make it true because the previous things that you've already shared for them have been absolutely true. So they're much more likely to accept what you're saying is true without questioning it. And for a lot of people, they enjoy trance. This is my generalization, by the way. But a lot of people, as Richard Bandler says, he says, we're all in trance all the time. And I find that quite interesting because we really are. I mean, we're all interpreting electrical signals through our bodies, through our eyes, through our touch, and through our hearing. And we're all just converting electrical signals in our brain all the time. So really, I mean, everything that happens to us is a trance.
So Nick, would that sound possibly something like if you were to pay someone to get to a point where they had a new realization, then you could use the modality to lead them into new realizations through that language for them to experience something totally different to what they previously were experiencing?
Yeah, that's right. That's a really nice example. Let me give you how that might sound like. Someone sits down at a coffee table with you and they say, "Oh, Gavin, I'm really struggling at the moment. I've been having an argument with my wife and we just don't see eye to eye. She says that she can never really hear what I'm saying. She doesn't really understand me. I'm all caught up about it." And you might say, well, I appreciate as you sit across from me now and we look at each other and we consider what you've said and the words that have come out of your mouth. And as you listen to yourself when you said that, you may have noticed that you've come up to a realization about what you've shared already. So, and just as there was a bit of pacing there, and then there was a small leading with you may have already noticed that you've come up to a realization. What is that, mind read?
Got it.
Yeah. And literally you just planted the realization in the head, and as a result of planting the realization in there, they will have the realization.
And once they have the realization, Nick, then you could continue to lead them using the modality, like now that, or they might say something like, oh, so I can be healthy without them realizing, or from a an unconscious answer rather than a conscious answer. And if you were to then acknowledge, yes, that's correct, and now how do you feel about that new realization? Is that an example of leading?
They have the realization, and then you ask them, how do you feel about that realization?
Yes.
I mean, I've always been of the belief, I like the question, I've always been of the belief, Gavin, that the person who's asking the questions is the person who controls the conversation. So the person who controls the conversation, in my perception, is the person who's leading the conversation.
Got it. Thanks, mate. That was awesome.
So I think really simply, you could use that principle. Now, I think this is useful in a few different contexts. You experienced it this morning, Lee?
Well, I've been teaching my neuro-linguistic kinesiology class for the last 2 days, so it's been a great experience for me to cement in the learnings and the new learnings that I've had, and of being able to speak from a whole different perspective now. Well, I would say even in reframing my current language to my now new language in that format, and it's been magnificent. So I'm just at lunch now, and these are the things that I've been experiencing so far. So my experience has been that I've been able to allow the students or help them to get into a trance-like state, and to be able to use exactly all of the things that we've been doing and what you've been helping us with now. And it's been a tremendously empowering for myself feeling.
So good. That's great. I love the empowerment. What about, are you saying something there, Kylie?
Oh, I was thinking, clarity. I can see it's an area that I haven't had much practice in, and I'd like to improve on.
You want to practice the Milton model and the pacing and leading.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, with my children, I often think of something, but I feel unsure of how to put it. So it's like, I can see this is a really valuable tool, but I'm a little bit, I'd like some more examples, I guess. Like you said, you may have already noticed, or you've had this realization. Yeah. What are some other, specific examples of the way you could phrase leading?
That's great. Let's so if you guys like to do that, let's get some more examples in here and some more ways that you can apply this, and also some different terminology you can use.
Yes. Right.
Okay, cool. So here's some key words, or some key couple of words. Here's some key words that you'll probably find really useful when delivering the Milton model, and these key phrases, if you want to write them down, then by all means write them down, or just allow them to sink into your unconscious so that you can use them whenever you need them. The key words is that as you, so that's a key word, as you.
Yep.
So as you look at me now, or as you notice this, or as you feel that, or as you hear that. So using as you. Words, you are. Using the words you are, such as you are hearing me, you are feeling this, you are seeing that. You begin to, which is more of a leading phrase. So you begin to. But I've personally found the as you to be the most useful. I use it a lot. Let me give you an example of all of you guys. let me give you an example of this right here, right now, in the context of this meeting. As you guys sit or stand, listening to this information and listening to the sound of my voice, as you notice the computer screen in front of you and as you notice the picture, you'll also notice that the tone of my voice can change at any time. And as you notice the tone of my voice changing, you can also notice that, as Gavin writes, I'm in a trance. Yeah. We found the suggestible people. Okay, cool. So did you notice the overuse of as you? I probably wouldn't use it quite that much. And if I was going to use an entire range of Milton model patterns that are kind of all just strung in a line, notice which words I use to interlink the experience. In other words, as you is a word that I use to link an experience in. So as you is like it's like the full stop between the sentence. It's like I have to stick it there in order for you to respond to what I'm saying. So I'll be like, as you listen to the sound of my voice now, and as Lee writes her message, yes, this morning I was pacing, then started to leave, but the person turned around and said, why would I do that? Honestly, it threw me. Okay, that's all right. That's just a learning experience. So as Lee wrote that in there, and as you listen to the sound of my voice and you notice the tone and the pitch of my voice, and you notice any sounds around you from behind you, or you notice anything that you're feeling on your body right now, and as you notice any of those things that you're feeling on your body, and you notice what you're seeing through your eyes, and you notice that screen, or you notice anything else that you're seeing, and as you notice all of those things and you hear the sound of my voice and you feel what you're feeling now, you may begin to wonder what you're going to learn during our time here. So that's kind of like more stringing together the whole thing so that it flows a little bit better, so that I'm not consciously using as you as much as what I did with the previous. Does that one help a little bit more as well?
Yes, that's good.
So practicing of putting it all together on page 42 would be quite helpful by the sound of what you've just said, Nick.
Yeah. Putting it all together can be quite cool. Were you going to say something there, Kylie?
Yeah, I'm just typing it instead.
Oh, yeah, cool. Nice one, Lee. I'm glad that you get it more now. All right. You'll probably also notice the punctuation ambiguity that I use a lot in my language. I tend to stop halfway through sentences. That's also really useful for inducing trance, because people sit there in limbo halfway between when you're supposed to say something or not. In other words, you stop halfway between your sentence and people kind of just get caught up in a trance while they're kind of waiting for you to continue saying your sentence. So Kylie, I'm wondering if you could use a double bind in the, like, maybe you might choose to, and yeah, that's actually a really good point, Kylie. It depends how deep the person is in a trance. They're more likely, and here's possibly something that's key for you, Lee. The deeper the person is in a trance, the least likely they are to reject what you're saying or not. In other words, when you and you know when they're in a deep trance because they're hypnotized completely, like they are in a trance, they're sitting in the chair and they're tranced out. Whereas if you're sitting at a coffee table with someone, they're only in a super light trance. If you start pacing their experience, just like if I start pacing your experience now, if I was to say, so you guys listen to me now, and you listen to the sound of my voice and you notice what Lee's typing in there, that it was a learning curve this morning. And as you notice any sounds in the background around you, and as you notice the feelings that you have in your body and whatever you can feel through your body at the moment, you may be considering, and you may be wondering about purple monkeys. You're like, well, I'm not really thinking about purple monkeys, but now that you suggested it, now I am. But so it's kind of like you kind of accept it, but you go, well, no, I wasn't really thinking about purple monkeys, but when you said it, now I am. using the Milton model was just we're having fun, aren't we? So thinking of getting through to this person. Just a lot more language. Thinking of getting through to this person. I need to smell the popcorn. I need a drink. All right. That's all good, Lee. So did you, maybe you can say something if you like, Lee, through your microphone. So what was the experience there?
Can you guys hear me okay? Because Kylie sort of echoes and is coming in and out, so that's why I reverted to typing.
Oh yeah, if you're not talking, if you can just mute your microphone just while other people are talking and just unmute it when you want to talk, that's probably going to help Lee to come through a bit clearer, perhaps.
It started off, I guess, pacing and bleeding, and I thought I was doing fine, and I thought my mind read. I think it was mind read. When I look back on it, I probably was doing more mind read than what I should have been doing. I should have been paying more attention, I guess, to maybe her body and her, the triggers that she was sort of giving me, because I said something and then she said, well, why would I want to do that? And I guess I just read it absolutely incorrectly and I lost her.
Yeah, okay. Good learning experience.
And that was about 30 minutes into the conversation, into the session, and it was going really well. And we did start off with the menu thing and the coffee, like everything you said this morning just played right into my hands. You know, it was really going well. And then I just, somewhere along the line there, and it only took a couple of minutes and I lost it completely. So I rescheduled for another morning and I'm thinking, where did I go wrong?
I think you know where you could have done differently. I mean, you already sharing this already is probably already got the answers. All right. Well, maybe the answers. What's that?
It blew me away. I haven't experienced that before. You know, I'm usually okay with pacing and reading people, and I guess maybe she wasn't ready to go to the next level. Maybe that's why I lost this person. Maybe the next time she'll be ready, because I've implanted some further thoughts already.
Yeah. What was the Okay. Thanks, Gavin. Appreciate you taking the time to catch up with us. We'll catch you soon. Yeah. Great. All right. Thanks, Gavin. Yeah, Lee. Was it an NLP coaching session, or was it a coffee, or what was the context?
It was a coffee with somebody, and they were very open to discussion and talking about a problem perhaps that they wanted me to help them with, and then I was leading them into it was going really well, and then I asked them something else, and bang, I lost the complete.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, all I can offer there is that I keep my mind reads to a minimum unless they're in deep trance.
Yeah.
Keep my mind reads to a bare minimum. I mean, I don't really know the specifics.
You're right.
Okay. All right. Should we continue? Are you guys getting some value from this?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask just what you said then to Lee? Is that would that be specific to that case for Lee, that she keeps mind reads to a minute, or is that a generalization across the board until they're in deep trance?
Yeah, mind reads. For me personally, I've found mind reads to be most useful when you embed them inside of a sentence, and then you add other stuff after you've said the mind read. And what I mean by that, yeah.
Okay, I mean.
What's that, Kylie? Okay. You're going to say something there, Kylie?
Oh, I interrupted you. Sorry, keep going. What an example would be great for a mind read embedded in a sentence.
Very cool. Yeah, let me give you an example. So an example would be in the context of the coffee shop. So I might say to the person, I notice you're holding on to the menu there, and as you look at the menu, I'm just wondering, are you thinking about whether you will order the vegetarian or whether you will order the chicken dish? And by the way, I was wondering, have you seen that waitress? So you can actually, it's almost like a confusion tactic, but if you ask a question or you say something after you've ran a mind read, that's a very subtle one, by the way, then it really diffuses a lot of the objection, because they kind of lose it in a way, because it's kind of stuck amongst the, okay, you don't get it. Let me do a different context. Okay, so let me do the context of if you're with a client and they're sitting across from you in a room in the coaching context, and they've come to you for, say, life coaching or NLP coaching, and you say to them, as you sit across from me, and we've been speaking now for about 30 minutes, and I know that you're here because you're wanting solutions, and so as you look across from me, I'd like you to consider your reasons for being here. And as you consider your reasons for being here, and you listen to the sound of my voice, and you just notice that as you're sitting in the chair, you may be thinking, what realizations am I going to have today? And what I'd really like you to think about is why you were here. So did you notice that the mind read was just before that last phrase that I said?
I did, yeah. So what's the purpose? What's the higher intention of having the mind read in there?
The higher intention is to plant, it's to plant an idea in the person's mind. That's my that's my perspective on it.
Yeah, I don't know if you've got any books or anything about the purpose of the different ones, because I'm really interested in going into a bit more detail as well.
Yeah, not off the top of my head, but I'll send you through some if some come to me.
Oh, I've got those too.
What's that, sorry?
Magic. I'm reading that at the moment, but I'm not sure if that has much in it.
Oh yeah, cool. I think I read that to you. I can't remember. So, yeah. All right. Cool. So the Milton model. Should we jump into a different context with this? Because we've been sitting at the coffee shop, and maybe we should go into the client kind of example or something like that. Some context that you guys would like to use the Milton model, because we kind of got a little bit of an idea of pacing now. Leading, we haven't spent so much time on. Maybe if you guys like, we can do a bit more leading.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to practice that.
Okay, let me give you one of the really cool. You'd like to practice it?
Yeah. Yep.
Great. Let me give you guys a really cool example of leading. A really cool example of leading is actually when you're setting up an anchor with a person and you're doing it through video, or you're doing it through a group environment, or you're doing it through let's say, for example, you've got the person in front of you and you tell them to think of the last time when they felt really happy. And as they think of the last time when they felt really happy, and then to go into that state. And then as they begin to go into that if they're about to peak, you say, imagine you have a dial inside, and as you grab that dial and you reach inside, you can actually turn that dial up. And as you turn that dial up, you can actually make the feelings feel stronger and stronger. So I want you to reach inside and grab that dial and turn that dial all the way up and just crank it all the way up to a 10. From a 5 to a 6, that's it. Feeling those feelings, getting stronger and stronger. 8, 9, all the way up to a 10. Feeling those feelings, totally strong now. Now press your left finger down against your right knuckle. And keep pressing your finger down against your right knuckle as you feel those feelings of feeling totally happy. And as you feel those feelings of feeling totally happy now, just take your finger off your knuckle. Give it about 5 seconds. So did you guys notice the pacing and the leading in that there?
Yes. That was really clear.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Good example.
So we use pacing all the time with anchoring. It's really successful over video for the people who are most suggestible, Lee. So I'm sure that it will work very well for you. I've got lots of videos that I've shot that I've set anchors up for people, and a typical person's anchor lasts around 5 to 10 seconds. So I just give the average of 5 seconds, and I just allow people to sit there at 5 seconds, and I just trust that they're following me through the video. So in that context, the anchor, having them think of a time when they felt really happy, noticing as they go into that time. Now, if you're doing it through video, you can just consider that the average person takes a certain amount of time in order to access a state, which is anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds, talking the whole time as they're accessing the state, the happy state, let's say, if we're going to choose happiness. And then once I've given them an adequate amount of time, 5 to 10 seconds, to access the happy state, the happy memory, then I will tell them that they have a dial inside. Now, when I tell them that they have a dial inside and that they can actually reach inside and turn that dial up, that's leading, right? That's leading because before I told them they had a dial, they didn't have a dial.
Yes, exactly.
They didn't even know they had a dial. They had no idea. And I've had people that have come to me after doing videos like that, and they're like, whoa, I was like watching your video, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm thinking of this happy time. And then you said reach inside and grab this dial, and I did, and I was like, whoa, that felt amazing. And they message me stuff like this, and I'm like, and they're so amazed by it. They're like, wow, I felt amazing. This NLP stuff is amazing. And I think anchoring is a really, really cool resource, to use to give people instant results. Sometimes on coaching calls, I'll just throw an anchor like that in just to have them, sometimes I'll use anchoring to have them understand that they're in control of their emotions. If they start kind of talking about cause and effect, if she makes me feel this and he makes me feel that, or if they're in, they get themselves into upset or depressed states often, then I'll have them, I'll go through that same anchoring process. It might not be happiness, it might be any other emotion, and I'll go through that. And then once they've gone through it and they've turned their dial all the way up and they've felt really good and they've anchored it, I'll ask them a question. I'll say, who was doing that? Was that you, or was that someone else? Who was making you feel that way? And if they say me, I'll say, but did I reach inside and grab your dial, or did you reach inside and grab your dial? And they'll go, well, I did. And I'll say, well, so who decides whether you feel really good or not? And they go, I do. And I'm like, great. So it's kind of starting to plant the seed with clients that they're actually living at cause. Well, they may not be living at cause, but that they are at cause for their emotions. So I really like that anchoring example is a really good example. Another example, if you have kids, I don't have kids, but if you have kids or you have an intimate partner, then listen up. So if you've got kids or you've got an intimate partner, and I'm not really bunching them into the same, I'm just saying that, let's say in the context of kids, if you were to, what's really interesting is you can pace someone's experience about what they're feeling, and you can have them turn the pain up and turn the pain down. Pain is sometimes a little bit more challenging, but you can do sensations on the body really easily. This is one example of pacing and leading. So a really easy example is you can, let's say if you're, I don't know, maybe you're playing a game, you're playing maybe like maybe it's like a tickle game or something, and if you're like, haha, and you tickle their stomach with your hand, and they giggle, and then you say, oh, that felt funny, didn't it? And they go, yeah, and they're laughing. And you say, next time I grab your stomach, it's going to feel even more funnier. It's going to make you laugh even more. And then you tickle them again, and they'll laugh more. They'll guarantee it'll be increased. The feelings will increase because you've just paced them the first time, and then when you lead them by telling them that it's going to feel stronger, it'll feel stronger for them. They'll make it feel stronger. In the context of an intimate relationship, someone may kiss the other person, and as they kiss the other person, if the person's pacing, then they'll go, wow, that's a really great kiss. and then they may say, wow, your kisses feel really great. They feel really great, don't they? And then you kiss them again, and you can guarantee that the sensation of kissing will actually increase the pleasure. So that's just one example of pacing and leading, just by kind of subtly putting in there just to make it feel better, or just to say, it's just going to, just notice that it's going to be more exciting. Or the context of touch, if you were just to run your finger down somebody's arm, and as you ran it down their arm, and this is obviously maybe your partner or someone who would let you, and this is just a good example of pacing and leading, because it just allows you to kind of integrate it and grasp it, I think, a little bit clearer. If you were to run your finger down somebody's arm, say from their shoulder, and just start traveling down towards their elbow, and you were to say, as you're running your finger down your arm, you were to say, as I run my finger down your arm and you feel my fingertips on your feelings, just notice how that feels. And you get to the elbow, and as you get to the elbow, you say, and just notice as I get to your elbow and my finger slides down, the feelings of my finger on your skin become even more sensitive. Just notice that it becomes more sensitive. And by the time you reach their wrist, your fingertip will actually come across as being even more sensitive. And they'll go, whoa, your fingertip just instantly took on this whole other feeling. And it wasn't your fingertip that changed, it was that mind that changed the feeling because you were leading them. Do we have any questions at all? All right, cool, Lee. Thanks for joining. Great, no problem. We'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, I could probably do again some punch actually. That was so good.
Awesome.
I hope we can do it again.
Yeah, maybe we can tee up another call soon, maybe in a week or something. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty.
Awesome. All right, Kylie. Well, hey, thanks for joining, and we'll catch up with you very soon. And yeah, we'll catch up soon, I'm sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, guys. See ya.